Long time ago, there lived a man named Dotun, a self-made billionaire known for his ruthless business and boundless devotion to his mother and siblings. "Good morning, sir," the security greeted. Dotun waved and nodded barely slowly. "Is Mama awake?" "Yes." Dotun walked to the east side of the mansion. Inside the sunroom baked with gold light sat Mama, a regal woman in her 70s, her head wrapped in scale, her finger adorned with old silver rings. "Mama," Dotun said softly, kneeling to kiss her hand. "Have you taken your drugs?" "Not yet," she replied, eyes twinkling. "I wanted to see my lion first." Dotun smiled that same bullish smile he had when he was 12 and brought her stolen mangoes from the neighbor's tree. He rose, snapped his finger, and a maid came running with pills and a cup of honey tea. Meanwhile, across the mansion, his wife Tunuk sat alone at the breakfast table, her hand toiled with the edge of her teacup, eyes red. Their daughter Tinu 8 and son Tade 5 sat quietly, glancing at the empty doorway, hoping today might be the day their father joined them for breakfast. However, Dotun never came. Instead, he was in the base 2 hours later, arms wrapped around his younger brother named Shegun, who had just crashed a brand new Ferrari. "You are lucky that you are alive," Dotun said, examining the wound on Shegun's forehead. "Don't touch any wheel until I get you a new one." Shegun smiled. "It is not like I can drive a Toyota, eh?" Dotun chuckled. "Of course not. You can if I teach you how to." Every morning, Dotun began his day with a call to his mother, a jog with Shegun, a meeting with Shike. He knew their coffee, their fears, and their dreams. But his wife, he barely noticed whenever Tunuke changed her hairstyle. He forgot anniversaries. Birthdays were an afterthought. His assistants, who once sent Tinu a gift-wrapped box of luxurious chocolate. At the dining table, Tunike sat across from empty space. Dotun hardly joined them. If he did, it was a 10-minute appearance between phone calls and financial updates. Tade once spilled his juice and cried, not because of the mess, but because daddy is going to yell. However, he didn't notice. He walked past through the mess, phone pressed to his hair, discussing something about a contract. Tinu used to run to the door every time she had his car. By the time she turned 8, she barely looked up from her coloring book. Dotun missed her first piano concert. Tunuke saved him a seat in the front row. The lights faded. The crowd was quiet, however, the seat stayed empty. Tinu's hands trembled on the keys. When they got home that night, Tunike found Dotun in the study room, drinking wine and strolling through stock reports. "It went well," she said, standing in the doorway, hoping he will beg or feel guilty. Instead, he replied, "Good," without looking up. He didn't see the anger in her eyes. "She looked for you in the crowd," she said. However, Dotun didn't hear the crack in her voice. Weekends were supposed to be family days. A walk in the garden, tell stories, ice cream outing. However, Dotun spent them running his siblings' errand. Segun broken contract. Shike massive shopping trip. Mama every minor ache treated like a royal emergency. He bought them mansions, cars, jewelries, but whenever Tunuke asks for a family trip, just four of them, he will wave her off. There is too much going on. Mama needs me. She is not dying, Dotun. She is just poised like a little baby. Tunuke snapped once, losing her patience. He turned to her, voice sound like ice. That woman gave me life. Then she replied angrily, and I gave you family. For days, they didn't speak to each other. The distance between them stretched until it felt like they live in a different world. One night, Tade woke up from a nightmare and screamed. Tunuke ran into their room while Dotun didn't wake. She shook him. Wake up, your son was crying. He groaned. Turn his back. It is late, Tunuke. And your son asked me why his father hates him. That got him to sit up slowly. However, he didn't apologize. Tunuke, don't go to Tade. He is just saying things and imagining things. Then he went back to sleep. That moment, something broke in her. She didn't leave, not yet. However, she started packing silently in her soul. Every laugh the kids shared without him became another nail in the coffin of their conversation. 3 days later, Tunuke tried again. She waited until Dotun was in his study room, his laptop open, but his gaze distant. She knocked lightly. Dotun, he murmured, not looking up. Then she continued. I was thinking we should take the kids out this weekend. Tade has been asking to see the ocean and Tinu. Tunuke, he raised his hand. Mama needs me this weekend. Her hip is acting up again and she won't let anyone else massage it. And Segun needs help. He wants me to look into the bar investment. And you know that family matters. We are your family too, she said, almost crying. His eyes sharpened, his voice full of anger. You became my family. Mama gave me life. Segun and I starved together. We bleed together. You came after. He stood tall over her, frustration engraving hard lines across his handsome face. You think I forgot who stood by me when I was nobody? When we couldn't afford rice and my mother walked barefoot to wash floors. Now I have the power to give her everything. And now you want to schedule me like I am some bedroom daddy. Tears rolled down her eyes. However, she refused to blink. Your children don't even know what your laugh sounds like anymore, Dotun. A silence filled the room. Then he turned his back to her. Close the door on your way out. Dotun continued his routine, rose at 5, jogged with Segun, called his sister Shike every afternoon to ask if she needed money. He will sat with Mama after dinner, massage her hip with warm oil, and read her favorite poem out and loud. On Tinu's birthday, he sent Shike, his sister, $10,000 for a shopping and forgot about coming home. Tade fell ill one night with a higher fever. Tunuk called Dotun in a panic. However, he was in Dubai celebrating Segun's engagement. When he finally came back 2 days later, Tunuke met him at the gate. Her eyes were still. You abandon your son with 104-degree fever. He cried all night for you. Dotun looked at her genuinely surprised. You handled it, didn't you? He is alive. That is not the point, she hissed. You don't even see what you are doing. Then Dotun replied, I am doing what is right. I own everything to my mother and my siblings. If they are not okay, I am not okay. Then she asked, and what about us? What about the little people who still wait for you every day? He looked at her, really looked, for a second, but instead of answering, he walked past her. Tunuke sat in her room, weeping bitterly, saying to herself she had chosen the wrong path. My auntie warned me, but I refused to listen to her. Whenever I call him then that I am sick, he will tell me that he wants to massage his mother's hip. I made a very big mistake of marrying this man. The mansion grew colder. Mama's health improved. Dotun bought her a diamond layer cane. Shegun opened 3 luxury hotels. Shike got married in a wedding Dotun funded entirely. Tinu stopped asking about her father. Tade started stop scared of loud voices, especially Dotun's. One rainy day, Tunuke was in the kitchen. When her phone rang, she stared at the phone and it was her brother who was in abroad. And he has been sending Tunuke money to build him a mansion in Nigeria. Hello, brother. What happened? For the past 3 months, I've not heard from you. Happy birthday, sis. She was shocked. That was when she remembered about her birthday. Is today really my birthday? She asked. Don't tell me you forgot about your birthday. I have a lot running on my head, dear brother. And sis, you told me 4 months ago that you are finished building the house. Yes, she replied. Okay, that house is yours and that is your birthday gift, sis. Tunuke was very happy, though there was no joy in the house. However, the food tasted good. Tunuke, who had been packing in her spirit, finally made a decision. The next day, Tunuke packed 2 suitcases. She walked into Dotun's study's room one last time. He was on the phone laughing with Shike. I am leaving, she said, her voice calm. He blinked, phone still pressing to his hair. What? I said I am leaving. I am taking the kids. We are going. He ended the call immediately. You are being ridiculous. No, she replied, lifting her chin. You made your choice a long time ago. Mama needs me, he said again. And your children needs you too. However, you made it clear. They came after. So now you can have your before. She turned and walked away, only when the sound of the front door closing echoed through the building. Dotun finally stood, not to chase her, but to pour himself a glass of wine. He stared into the golden liquid, saying to himself, I never asked her to leave. No, she lived on her own. The weeks that followed felt like an old dream Dotun couldn't wake up from. At first, he told himself, she will be back, she always was. Tunuke had threatened to leave once before, when Shegun crashed a second car and Dotun paid off the police instead of disciplining him. She packed a bag, cried in the entrance and waited. That time, he held her for 5 minutes, promised that he will try harder and things smoother over briefly. However, This time, there was no crying, no yelling, just silence, and her wedding ring left like an accusation on his brown desk. One morning, Mama sat in a armchair near the fireplace, wrapped in a wool dress. She watched Dotun peace like a caged wolf. "She really left you, eh?" she said, drinking her tea. Dotun moved like a ghost. Now, he started noticing things. Receipts that didn't match. Documents signed in his name that he didn't recall. Shikemi and Segun had planned to bring their brother down from his throne. He would be behaving as if God has left everything in his hands, they said. They exchanged all his real documents with fake and signed their name on the real documents. And Segun, his younger brother, was suddenly dressing sharper, driving new car, claimed that it was a gift from a friend. Shikemi was no better. Her calls became less about catching up and more about urgent transfer and emergency debt that seems to multiply like cockroach. One night, Dotun entered his private office, the one only him had the key to. The safe was half open. His breath caught. He pulled on the light. Papers were missing. Gold bars were missing. Sealed envelope with private combination information was gone. The silence screamed at him. He moved fast, like the street smart hustler he once was. In 48 hours, he had 3 accountants and 2 private security consultants. $57 million missing, signed out in small square over a year by Shike and Segun. Dotun was shaking. He can't shout, he can't cry, and he didn't call them. Instead, he invited them for dinner. Segun came in late, wearing sunglasses at night, chewing gum like a teenager. Shike kissed Mama on her cheek and winked at Dotun, not knowing to them that something is wrong. He poured them wine himself. "To family," he said, raising his glass. They clinked toast. Dotun lay back in his chair. "When are you two planning to return everything?" Segun blinked. "Return what?" he asked. Shike turned her head with confusion. Dotun tossed a thick folder on the table. Bank transfer, signatures, fake documents. Silence filled the house. Segun dropped his spoon. "It is not what it looked like, bro." "It is," Dotun replied. Slammed his hand on the table hard enough to shake the wine glasses. "You thought I was so obsessed with honoring you that I never looked behind me? That I never checked the fake documents?" His voice grew low but dangerous. "You let me think I was saving you, while you draw the gold from under my feet." Shike stood, face red. "You have everything, Dotun." Then Dotun replied, "Return everything in 2 days, else you will not appreciate what I will do next." They both left with anger. They never call, they never show up. All their lines were off. 3 weeks after, the headline hit like sniper fire. Dotun, the billionaire CEO, was accused of fraud, tax, former executive abuse, and financial cover-up bribe. From within, Shike and Segun speak out. Shike had filed a legal complaint with the Financial Regulator Council, claiming Dotun used company funds to finance personal lawsuits, and Segun leaked audio tape to the press conversation that made it sound like Dotun had threatened a government ministry. In less than a week, his construction project in Lagos was stopped due to pending investigations. The stock price of his company dropped by 17% overnight. "Are you going to war with your own blood?" Mama asked softly. "They drew the first sword. They spoilt my name and took my money, used my loyalty like a blade. My son, I know you didn't do all these things. Then fight smart, not loud. Let them scream. You show the world what kind of man you really are. Because I am not going to support them, even if they are my blood," Mama said and turned her head away, tears falling down from her eyes. The next day, Dotun put on his finest black suit, not flashy. He sat down at the entrance with a single camera rolling. For the first time, Dotun went live. "I built this empire from dust. I built it for my mother, who scrubbed floors to keep us alive. I built it for my siblings because I didn't want them to suffer as I did. But when the house started to grow, they thought they owned it. And when I caught them stealing from it, they tried to burn it down." He took a breath. "I have made mistake of neglecting my wife, my children. I let loyalty to the past blind me to my present. But I won't let betrayal dictate my future." The clip went viral. Then public noise shifted. Then he hired the top digital lawful team in Europe. Within 72 hours, they exposed the false audio tape as edited and traced the accounts used to bribe journalists back to Shike company. Shike fled the country. Segun lost his empire, his hotels, and all his property. However, Dotun didn't rejoice. The next day, he hired a private investigator. 3 days later, he was parked outside a big mansion by the sea. 100 miles away, he saw Tinu and Tade chasing each other through a big yard, barefoot. Tunuk sat on the couch, a book on her lap. "Daddy," she said coldly. His heart sighed. He replied, "Yes, baby. You made mommy cry a lot." He stepped closer, slower. "I can't erase what I have done, but I want to start again, if you let me." Tunuk said nothing, but she didn't tell him to leave either. "I forgave you for the sake of my children and all the pains you put us through." They all hugged each other and came back and lived as one big happy family. In life, the people who deserve your time and energy are not always the ones who were first, but the ones who stand with you when it matters most. Love your roots is noble, but neglecting your branches, your spouse, your children, your responsibility can cause your whole tree to fall. So bestie, I hope you've learned one or two things from this story. Do well to like, share and subscribe till I bring another story your way. Bye!